All right, welcome into the Daily Fix. This is your host, Ron Hughley. We appreciate you joining us, having a good time with us here as we do it every single day, 12 o'clock Central Time, right here. The Daily Fix presented by Foolish Club Media. Right there, yawning loud and proud, right there in that small box is Steve Serta. How you doing, Steve? You good? Are you gonna
I was
fall asleep
muted.
on
I
us?
was muted while I yawned.
You were muted, but it doesn't mean we can't visually see you. This is a visual medium. We're not on radio anymore, where we got our start. Everybody can see you looking like you're on a plane trying to get your ears to pop, yawning that loud. But whatever. But we appreciate you joining us. However you taking us in. If you're on YouTube, we appreciate that. If you are on Twitter, Facebook, however you're listening, please share with others. We appreciate that as we try to grow this thing. And also, what I need you to do is head to our YouTube channel, Foolish Club Media. If you have not done so, please hit there, like and subscribe, and you can get all the content you want from Veach Season to the Daily Fix, which is on every day, to Brian's World on Wednesday, to Show and BK, which comes out on Fridays. More and more stuff we're doing, not to mention the post-game show with Steve Serta, who you see right there in the little box, and Rocky. There is so much content, and you can get all of that. Like and subscribe at our YouTube channel, Foolish Club Media. I'm not going to hold you too long, folks. I want to get a couple of things. I just want to know who the hell decided, hey, let's pull out the mace. That's what I want to know. We didn't get a chance to touch this yesterday, but I want to know who said, let's pull out the damn mace. And I am so happy for this guy. In the short period of this show, The Daily Fix, we talked up this young man, and Serta tried to derail it, but we talked up this young man, and we're starting to see the fruits of it. Almost in a bad way, but we're starting to see the fruits of it. All right, but let's start here. Give me my 2 minutes, Steve. When is DJ Humphries going to be able to play? Lord, when is he going to be able to play? We need 70 to be out there. Now, he says he's ready, and I understand the wonders how true that is, being that man hasn't played in over a year now, coming off an ACL, a big man like that. But this is from the head coach, Andy Reid. You know, he's going to be vague. He said, we'll work him in and see how he feels. The main thing is he hasn't played in a while, so I just want to make sure he's in a good position. We'll do a little bit more with him this week. It's either him or Joe Thuney, right? The Wanye Morris thing, once they have, if it's anything like Kingsley, once they've washed their hands with that, he is done. They'll either move Joe Thuney out to left tackle, which is not ideal at all, especially since he is an all-pro level left guard, but they'll move him out to left tackle if Humphries isn't ready, or it will be Humphries over there. And that's what needs to happen, because, I mean, if we thought 44 gave them problems, or the few times that Max Crosby went over there, then what the Chiefs have coming up is going to give Wanye problems. And not just that, we are going to fully know if DJ Humphries can handle this and what the Chiefs have to do to handle this thing, Serta, because upcoming Sunday, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, both sides. Jawan Taylor, don't think we haven't forgotten about you. You've been maybe a half a step better than the left tackle spot. Coming up behind that, Myles Garrett. We just saw him dominate the Steelers for 3 sacks coming off the left side in the first half. After that, Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, those two are on a tear as well. Both of them are nearing double-digit sacks. Hunter already has it. After that, you hit me one more time, I'll punch you right in your gut, right in your large intestine. The other one after that, maybe the defensive player of the year, and TJ Watt, Highsmith, who has been iffy, but I bet he'll be ready to go when that happens. And not to mention Denver's defense after that. So, Serta, one, they cannot afford to put Wanye Morris in against those guys because he's getting dusted by everybody. Two, we're going to learn over the next several weeks, whenever DJ Humphries does play, if they got good enough to work with over there, because they are facing some of the best pass rushers in football the last 5 games of the season.
I do think that the plan was like, give him a couple of more weeks.
Oh, it's been rushed.
And with the way that Raiders game played out, like, because it wasn't just, Max Crosby totally annihilating you. It was everyone that the Raiders put on the left side.
Who was 44? Who was 44? Because it was him more than anybody.
It was Diablo, and then they got a couple other guys who they were lining up, and everyone that was going against Wanya Morris was just winning. And it's like, yeah, with the collection of pass rushers that you have coming up, this thing all of a sudden is like, it is the utmost importance that DJ Humphries is ready to go, and we get him out there as soon as possible. And so I would assume that as long as they're comfortable with where he's at, he is going to start this week.
It was Caleb Von Chasen. That's who it was. That was just working him over. That's who it was that was doing him in. Yeah, listen, they got to ramp this sucker up. I can even understand, Serta, because, I mean, yeah, you want to ramp him up, but damn, you want to ramp him up against Khalil Mack? But, hey, if you wait a week, then it's Myles Garrett. So, I mean, he's going to have to get in this thing at some point. But that's the scary thing, boy. There ain't no warm-up act. There ain't no chasing act, even though he dominated the Chiefs in that game. So it is that's obviously the biggest issue with this team, and the thing to watch is how quickly do we see DJ Humphries 070 in the act. All right. I want to say that I'm happy for this young man, Steve. And it's okay. You can be too. Bryce Young. I am so proud of him. Now, we did this earlier before the season started when people were making fun of him because he looked like a seventh grader walking into the facility. And people would make those pictures, and I believe would take those pictures at a wider shot so he looked smaller. And he then lost his job relatively quickly. And he didn't sulk. He went over there and got better. And I'm not going to go the route and say, Steve, that he is a legit starting quarterback in this league. I'm not going to say that. But, Steve, how about little Bryce Young? He has looked good. He followed up. And listen, we saw him up in close and personal, Steve. He looked really good against the Chiefs and made some big throws and hung in there with the pressure. And then came back, and they lost to Tampa, but that wasn't for him. He drove them down there multiple times to get go-ahead scores and had them down there to get the game winner until Hubbard fumbled, which lost him the game. But I am so happy for Bryce Young. He looks like he is finding his way in the NFL, and it looks like he is somebody that can play. Canales and him have worked together because I do think Tepper maybe had a little something to do with them hitting the eject button on him so fast early in the year. But he looks like he can roll. And this is like the first time and it's been about 3 or 4 weeks. That's why I think the sample size is big. The Saints, I saw some plays where it's like, that's the Alabama guy. We saw some plays the last 2 weeks of. That's why he went number one over the likes of C.J. Stroud, over the likes of Will Levis and Anthony Richardson because of that play. So I am happy. Daily Fix. Clap it up. You snap fingers, whatever, for Bryce Young. I'm so happy for that kid.
I do think that Canales is like a solid offensive play caller, but I do wonder, like, Tepper's such a bad owner that
had to be Tepper, right? You don't just eject after 2 weeks.
It's probably going to keep the Panthers a bad organization, but Bryce Young has been great the last 2 weeks. He's fun. Like he's legitimately fun to watch now, which is the first stretch of games in his NFL career that you could even make that case.
Yeah, he looks good, and like if they meddle with this thing, because there was a thought, all right, they got to go find a new quarterback. And again, I don't know if it's solved, but I mean, if he continues to put the rest of the season together like he is, that's big time for him. All right, finally, as so much happened on Sunday, we didn't really get a chance to hit this yesterday, but the Michigan-Ohio State game and incident. Firstly, Ryan Day may get himself fired, not just for the game, but then afterwards. And they get into a nice little, I mean, this is an old get on your side as Michigan tried to put the flag in the middle of the O and some of those Ohio State players would have none of it. And yes, I do think, Serta, now that we saw this just become a thing on Saturday, because we're putting a flag in the middle of Ohio State's field. North Carolina State tried to do it. The kid from North Carolina took the flag like a javelin and threw it into the stands, which is dangerous to itself. Florida State, the Florida Gators, they put the flag in the middle of Florida's field. And then what was it, a pitchfork from Arizona State? They threw one in the middle of Arizona's field. I mean, we just saw this back and forth. They may have to stop this and do something to it because all of y'all nuts are looking and getting ideas, and it became a dangerous situation. I don't even want to say it dangerous, but a situation that you don't want to have seen on TV if you're college football. I just want to know who it was, the guy, Serta, in the Columbus Police Department that said, grab the mace. Grab the mace. Grab the mace. It is hard. I wasn't down there, but it is hard, Serta, for me to believe that is the step. That is the step. Like, grab the mace and let's start spraying these cats down. Like they are protesting or they are somewhere or some criminals. Let's grab the mace and spray. Because to me, what if the mace didn't work? Where are we going next? What's the next move? Tasers? What are we doing? What are we doing after that? I thought that was completely unnecessary. I just want to know, like, who is the first person to say, I'm grabbing the mace? Mike, grab the mace. Let's get him. It's just insane that that's where they turn to.
Yeah, events like these are generally like, people that work the stadiums, police officers that work the fields and stuff like that. It's just like extra income side money. Like, it's something that you do on the weekends to pick up a little extra cash. Like, I've been doing some of that here and there, honestly. Like
you
just working
maced people.
No, working side jobs at games and live events and things like that. Like, it's just not something like you expect people are going to go out there, have a good time or whatever. And sometimes these games get chippy, but it can't come to that. Like, it just simply can't come to you're macing players on the football field. And I know it was an altercation and it was a situation that they had to get under control faster.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But I mean, I just still think it wasn't going on long enough to where we had to pull out mace. Like, that was like the sight of those Michigan players, just their eyes messed up and mace hitting them. That was even worse to me than the scene that happened between the two players. Hi, Mom and Courtney.